So you've been watching this channel for quite some time now, and you finally made out the decision to set up your backyard fish farm. But you've been wondering what is the processes involved and how to get your fishes as big as these. We are just going to take you through how you can easily set up your fish farm. So on the very first day, you would like to think about your setup. So as in this particular episode, we are going to look at the square tank. And then you like to consider the needed material. You need to buy your square tank. You need to buy some plumbing materials if need be. You need to buy some fingerlings. You need to buy some feed. You need to also get other things you use to sterilize your pond. So then after you've seen the costs involved, what you do is you go ahead and make all the purchases and get them to site. On the second day, it is a day for your plumbing works and then sterilization of the pond and filling the pond. So on the second day, what you want to do is you come to your setup, do all the cutting that you're supposed to do in your tank, and then now you start doing the necessary plumbing work. Now, if you are working with your tank, you would like to clean inside your tank and then also get your materials in there. So we are looking at if you are supposed to consider your inlet and your outlet. It will depend on whether you are going to be using the water hose as your inlet or you are going to use the normal pipes as your inlet. Now with the outlet, normally the tanks has an outlet already, and so you can use that. But then most of the time, I recommend having an extended outlet so that you don't tamper with the main outlet of your tank. So we have to consider these things on this particular day. So after cutting your tanks and everything, the next thing you like to do is to wash inside and then also sterilize with salt. So I have with me here some salt, and then you add it to some water, and then you have your sponge, and then you rub it in your pond. So let me show you how it's done. So you pour this. Wash again with clean water, because the salt, you do not want the salt to be too much into the system. So you wash it out, make sure that you flush out all the water out of the pond, and then you are good to go. So for your outlet for this particular tank, I have with me here something small that I did because I said I didn't want to stress the outlet material that this tank came with. So I built something here. This is a reducer. So this reducer is 2 inches. Now the tip of the pipe is also 2 inches. So you can easily just put this side in there and close, and then it will close. But then it reduces to 1 inch pipe. And so you have your 1 inch pipe being fixed inside. And then now this is your valve. So this is what we'll be using to open and close for water to enter and come out of our fish pond. So this is how it is. This is how I fix it. You do this one, and then now the next thing you can do is this. You just put it here like this, and then you just turn it. All right. So as you can see, the water is easily coming out of this. So now what happens to this one is I just set this one at a certain flow rate because of the fingerlings in there, so that they cannot easily penetrate. And then I'll be using this to close and open at any point in time. What happens is you wouldn't necessarily be having to tamper with this, because when you have a problem with this, it becomes a bit of a headache for all of us. So you can do something as easy as this as your outlet, and then you are good to go. So as you can see, for those of you who have some water holes in your house like this, you can just connect it to your reservoir and then it will be your inlet. So you can just connect your inlet here. So every single day you have this connection in there. You open a valve because the pipe is being connected to another pipe to our reservoir, and then it flows in here every single time. So water flows in here and then comes out from the bottom drain, as you can see that we have done. Now for some of you that you do not have this water hose, or you may not necessarily want to use the water hose, but then you like to use the pipe hose, this is how it is being done. Now with the pipe hose, you connect it to your reservoir and then you have the connection like this. Then you put a valve over here so that you can have water coming in and out of your pond, and then you have an elbow and then you direct it into your pond. You can see this is it, and water will just be flowing into your fish pond anytime you want it, and then you can easily close it. And this kind of plumbing works. Sometimes, as I say, you can easily do this by yourself and you don't necessarily need a plumber in here. So what you just need to notice, because of the plumbing materials, if you are using any glue or anything like the one I showed you with the drainage, there was no glue, so there wasn't any need for us to even worry ourselves. But then in a system like this where we've done permanent setup like this, we need to allow some sunlight to shine on this and then also have some water running through all of this, so that you wouldn't necessarily put in fish and then when you pump in the water, it is concentrated with glue. So the next day you like to come to your system and then you come and make sure that yes, there's still no leaks, and then also you want to make sure that the glue, that is if you use the chemical in your plumbing work, you want to make sure that you have been able to exhaust that particular smell or residue in the pipes, because it could be harmful to your fishes. Then on the same day, what you do is you call the farmer or wherever you're going to get your fingerlings from. You can reach out to me, I can sort you out in that particular regard. So you make arrangements for your fingerlings and then your feed. In this tank, you're looking at a maximum of just 100 fingerlings in there, unless it's going to be a quarantine tank or it's a tank you're going to use for an intermediary storage for your farm. So as you can see here, we have some fingerlings, about 700 of them. And these guys have been from our hatchery. They've been here for quite some time. For the purpose of this demonstration, they are going to go into the tank that we set up. They are going to be there for just a short time so that we'll transfer them into a tarpaulin tank. And so just watch how we go about it. Ideally, when they come, they are either in barrels or rubbers. That's the silicone rubber with some oxygen. But then since these guys are coming from our hatchery, they are already accustomed to the kind of water that we already give to them. And that's the same water that we are going to give to these fishes. So we like to, as fast as possible, transport them into the water that has been waiting for them for almost 3 days now, so that you would be able to see how we do that. So first of all, we like to just take them, drain some of the water off them, and then just drop them into the new tank. So let's pick these guys. So you So what I want to now do is I want to just transfer them into this sack and then allow them to swim in the water. As I said earlier on, if they are in sacks or you buy them in other barrels and stuff like that, you probably need to lower down the barrel into the water for about 30 minutes so that they can easily be acclimatized to the system as easy as possible. But then because of the water I've been using for these guys, it's the same water that I have in this particular tank, I can easily do this particular transfer. So we lower down and then so as easy as it is, you just allow them. So you don't throw them, you allow them to swim into the water. And this is so beautiful to watch. Very, very beautiful. Then they are new self-contained. So when you look at me right now, you can see that I'm a little bit stressed. And I can tell you that the fishes here are more stressed than I am. And that is the reason why normally when you bring fishes into your house and then you put them into your tank, for the first 24 hours, we do not feed them. So the feeding is going to be done the next day, and we are going to give them small, and as we are feeding them, you'll be watching how they react with respect to the feed. We'll bring you subsequent episodes to show you how we are going to sort these fishes out and then how their feeding is going to happen. So keep on watching this nice channel. And so when you look at these guys, it looks like their density, they are so dense over here. So probably we'll need to slash them, and then there's another tank in there. We transport the nest of the batch into that particular one. Then by that time, our tarpaulin setup will be ready with good air compressors and oxygen at every single point in time for the fishes. So this is it. It's as easy as it looks over here. And this is so beautiful. You can come and then spend some time with them. And so changing of water in this particular system is going to be a maximum of a day because of the stocking density. But then if we are working with 100 fingerlings, then you can do probably like 2 days. Every 2 days, you just open your valve, get the water to come out, and then you are good to go from there. So upon arrival of your fishes, what you're supposed to know is you're supposed to take note of the quantity of fishes that came into your system, that is into your pond, and then you also need to note, are there any mortalities? So normally you have a book where you record every single activity. That is to say, if there are changes in the lifestyle of your fishes, or if there is any mortality, you note it down. You could also note the feeding. Every day, how much are you giving them, or what quantity of feed are you giving to the fishes? This is also going to help you a lot. Come on, what's up? I came to give you some feed. Hmm? You don't come and throw everything inside. Other than that, they are not necessarily going to really eat. So you feed, you wait, you feed, you wait, you feed, you wait. And then try spreading the feed a little bit so that everybody can get some to eat. So to know the quantity you're supposed to be feeding them every time, what you can just do is, as you are giving them, you make sure they are completely done eating what is in there. Then you can add another one. Also, as easy as possible to know the kind of feed, the size of feed you can give them. You can reach out to me as well. I'll give you all of the answers you need with respect to the size and then the feed that you need. Also, we have a feeding chart, which sometimes we make available to people who come and then they come and then interact with us. But then we'll try and see if there can be episodes where we can share some of these details with you. So that is how this whole farming thing works out. Now, there's a bonus tip for you for watching today's episode. That is this. When you change your water in your fish pond, there are two things you do not do. You do not feed them before changing the water, and you do not feed them immediately after changing the water. What you have to do is, after changing the water, wait for about 10 to 15 minutes. And what this is going to do for your fishes is, it's going to allow them some space to flush out whatever toxins, whatever waste they have in their system, so that they can easily eat more of the feed that you are giving onto them. Also, some of them, as a result of the stress they went through, giving them that time will give them a reliever so that they can easily chance upon the food that you're giving to them. So that's it on today's episode with Latman Farms. As we've been saying, just like, share, and subscribe. Put on a notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our exciting episodes. Also, we've seen that this community of farmers is growing as a result of what you have been doing for us by sharing and then also liking and commenting. and we want to say that we are so appreciative of what you've been doing for us. And also, if you've started a fish farm as a result of watching this particular channel, just give me a thumbs up or just let me know in the comment section, so that probably when it is time for us to run a workshop or anything, we can just invite you over and then we can make this community work. So thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.